What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm very excited to start jumping into some BT9 content. Today I'll be bringing you my MetalGarurumon X Antibody deck. Now, this is a deck that I'm very excited for. I plan to play it a lot in upcoming tournaments and whatnot, so I had to test it coming into the format so I could try to refine it a little bit. So I wanted to bring you this list so you have somewhere to start day one of the formats. Now, here's a little overview of the deck right now, but we are going to go into depth of each card a little bit more. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Alright, starting off with the Digitama, we are going to be having 4 of the Sumomon and 1 of the Demi-Vmon. The Sumomon just gives you plus 1k if you have Garurumon or Omnimon, so it's very easy to activate in this deck because most things say Garurumon in there or it says the Omnimon in there, so it's just a your turn plus 1k DP. It is very nice. You're going to want this in things like the Mirror Match, and just being able to survive security checks so you don't have to use your Garurumon X Antibody Inheritable is going to be very nice. So I did like the plus 1k DP boost, which is why I also went with the Demi-Vmon, which is going to give you plus 1k if you have 8 or more cards in your hand. So it's just 5 cards that are going to give you plus 1k DP boost to keep the effect consistent. I have considered cutting this Demi-Vmon for an Upamon so you have a way to draw as well, but that's really going to be kind of dependent. I have stuck with the plus 1k DP so that way the eggs are a little bit more consistent in what they do, but if you wanted to go for draw or maybe source strip like that, you probably could, but I do think you want to stay with the Sunomons because it is just very consistent to be able to get this effect. Alright, now let's start looking at the rookies. We are playing 13, and to start off, we are going to start with 4 of the BT5 Gabumon. This is on play. Look at the top 3. You get to grab a card with Garurumon in its name and a card with Omnimon in its name, so you can hit 2 off of this, which is very nice. It isn't going to happen very often, but it does just search you a Garuru, which is very nice because you just want to find your pieces. You want to be able to find your War Garurumon X Antibody, your MetalGarurumon X Antibody, and stuff like that. So you'll be able to play this, hard play it. Then you'd be able to go with the Garurumon X Antibody, which we're also playing as a 4 of, but then you could Digivolve this for 0 on top of it to get another search. It also has on play as well if you don't want to Digivolve on top of it. So we are just playing both of these at 4 because they are searchers, and of course Gabumon X Antibody you want to be playing at 4 because it does synergize with the Garurumon X Antibody because you'll be able to stack up level 3s for later, so wanted to max out there. Next, we are playing 3 of the starter deck 8 Gabumon. Now, a lot of decks are playing this at 4 and just playing all 3 of these Gabumons at 4 and playing the 12 rookies, but I decided to cut this down to 3. It is a very strong card. It has the all turns inheritable plus 1k DP, which is a little bit stronger because having 1k DP on your opponent's turn can be very big, but I had to cut this down because I wanted to make more room for other rookies. As you see, we are playing the 2 Madoki Betamon here. This is a card that is not super common in these lists, but the thing about the current metagame, especially early on, is that there are a lot of ways to gain memory. Things like memory boosts. A lot of decks are going to be playing 3 to 4 memory boosts, which when they get 2 or 3 out, you could play out a Madoki, really slow them down a lot. There's other various cards that are going to gain you memory. For example, we have the Garurumon from BT5 here in the Mirror Match. You can gain a memory off this. Being able to negate that with Madoki is very strong. There's just a lot of ways to prevent or gain memory. Being able to prevent that can really slow your opponent down, especially because a lot of decks aren't really playing memory blockers as much unless it's like green. So I do like the Madoki here a lot. I did cut it down to go to 2, but I just think this is a very strong card in the metagame still. This is a card that seems to get better and better each format in my opinion, so I am testing it at 2 here just as a kind of good floodgate to slow down the metagame. Alright, now let's go ahead and get on into the champions. We are playing at 10 in this list, starting off with 4 of the BT5 Garurumon. It says when Digivolving, if you have a Gabumon in your Digivolution sources, you get to go ahead and gain a memory. So this doesn't work with Madoki, and it doesn't work with Gabumon X Antibody, which is unfortunate, but it's not that big of a deal. Being able to Digivolve for 1 on top of your other Gabumons is very nice. It's a big plus side because you get to save 1 memory to extend your turns better, but it's really not that big of a deal because you just need to get it to Garurumon so that way you can go into the Garurumon X Antibody. So if you have to Digivolve for 2, it's really not that big of a deal. It's another all turns effect to be able to gain plus 1k DP. So if you pair this with the starter deck 8 Gabumon, you can have plus 2k on your opponent's turn, which is very nice. You are going to be having 8 or more cards in your hand most of the time with this deck. You get to draw a lot. So yeah, this Garurumon is very staple. Next up, we got 4 of the Garurumon X Antibody. This is the card that really brings the deck together. The inheritable here is really what makes this deck work, in my opinion. So first off, you're going to be able to Digivolve for 0 on top of Garurumons, which is nice because you're going to be able to, you know, get that cycle for 0, but also be able to stack up for Garurumon's own inheritable here, which says all turns, if you have Garurumon or Omnimon in your name and you are going to be deleted by battle, you can go ahead and trash 2 cards in your sources that are the same level to prevent that deletion. So that's why things like the Gabumon X Antibody are very strong. because you can put this on top of a Gabumon for 0. Then you have 2 level 3s, and now later, if your card is going to get deleted, you can use this inheritable to trash these 2 to be able to keep it alive. Or if you have Garurumon and then put Garurumon X Antibody on top, then you have 2 level 4s. You can use that effect there. That's really how this deck wants to work here, so you really want to be trying to find this Garurumon X Antibody as much as possible. Then to finish off the champions, we are going to be playing 2 of the promo Garurumon here. It's just a when attacking, draw 1 if you have Garurumon in your name, which is going to be most swings that you do unless it's with the Omnimon. So it's just a draw card. I don't think this card is super powerful. It doesn't really change a lot as to where with the other Garurumons, they do have very strong inheritables. This one is just a nice draw 1. If you don't have any of your other Garurumons, you can go ahead and Digivolve this on top of here. Get that draw 1 inheritable going. It's not once per turn, so being able to kind of get that multiple swings to get the draw is nice, but I don't think it's strong enough to really put more than 2, maybe 3. Now getting on into the level 5s, we do have 4 of the promo War Garurumon here. This one is very strong, obviously, when attacking once per turn. If you have a Garurumon in your Digivolution sources, you get to unsuspend this Digimon. So you'll be able to swing, unsuspend, and then you'll be able to swing again, which will then pair because you have the War Garurumon X Antibody, which Digivolves from 0 for War Garurumon. And then when Digivolving, you get to unsuspend this Digimon. So then you'll be able to swing, Digivolve into this, and unsuspend, and then keep swinging some more. Except now, when you Digivolve on top of the War Garurumon here, you are going to have the inheritable of security attack +1. So we will go over kind of the combo of the War Garurumon and the War Garurumon X Antibody a little bit later once we get through some more of the cards in the deck. But yeah, this card is very strong. Being able to just use the X Antibody spell to get up into this for free, unsuspend, and then be able to swing some more while also being able to have the when Digivolving effect of being able to bounce a level 4 lower to your opponent's hand is just very strong. So War Garurumon X Antibody is insane, especially paired with the promo War Garurumon. And like I said, we will get into these 2 a little bit more here in just a minute. Now, before we get into our boss monster here, we will go over the other MetalGarurumon. We are playing 2 of the EX1 MetalGarurumon. Now, the when attacking effect, I think, is pretty much never really going to happen. It can happen if they have an on deletion, and that's nice, and it'll be a lot of value. But the main reason why EX1 Garurumon is very nice here is because when Digivolving, you get to gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your hand, and with this deck, you can very easily get 8 to 12 cards in your hand. And so if you're gaining 2 or 3 memory when Digivolving, you're essentially getting up into your Mega for 1 or 2 memory, maybe even free, which is so much value in this deck with these X Antibody type cards that it's just very strong. Like, the when attacking effect is super mid, but the when Digivolving is so strong that I really like this here. I was playing the BT1 MetalGarurumon as a 1-of and the EX1 one as a 1-of, but I decided to switch this to a 2-of because just being able to go up into your Mega for 1 or 2 memory has seen so much value because we are going to be able to go into our MetalGarurumon X Antibody here, which we are playing as a 3-of. I decided to play it as a 3-of instead of a 4-of because it just did feel a little bit clunky. This is a card that you go into like maybe twice a game, once a game. So having 4 of them did become a little bit clunky. But this card is super insane. Starting off with the when Digivolving effect, being able to unsuspend and then gain blocker is very big. I had multiple games in testing already where being able to just have the blocker ability is super insane. We don't have any other cards in the deck that are going to be having blocker, so having your Mega, your giant Mega, be able to block things is going to be very useful, and I found that to be very big. But of course, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended on your turn, you are going to be able to bounce all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to their owner's hand. So let's say you're attacking with the War Garurumon, it's suspended, and then you Digivolve up into the MetalGarurumon X Antibody. You are going to unsuspend. The effect's going to resolve before your turn ends, so it's still going to be your turn. So then your turn effect is going to activate, and you're going to bounce back your opponent's lowest level Digimon. This has been very potent. I've had times where my opponent, all they have is a level 6, like Grandis Kuwagamon or something, and then you just go for swings, and then you Digivolve this, unsuspend, bounce back their only Digimon on the board. Now you have this 12k blocker. They lost their only thing on the board. Plus, if they play anything out next turn, you do have the potential to just clear it off next turn as well. So this card is very strong. Like I said, it is sometimes a little bit clunky, so I decided to cut it down to 3 with 2 of the EX1, but this card is just very strong. It isn't the main key piece. This deck works a lot in the ultimates, kind of like Imperial does, where a lot of the damage is going to be done with the War Garurumon and the War Garurumon X Antibody, so this is kind of the after effect of doing that. Then we are playing 1 of the Blitz Omnimon here. Now, I don't know 100% how I feel about this card, just because it is very nice, but sometimes it is clunky in your hand, because like I said, a lot of the times the damage in this deck is done from the level 5, so you don't always have a level 6 on board to actually go into the Omnimon. So I was playing this at 2. I recently cut it down to 1, and I'm currently testing it at 1. It feels much better at 1 because now I don't have to have games where I have 2 Omnimon in my hand and no Megas on the board, which felt very bad. But now At 1, this is just a little bit of a finisher. I don't think it's super necessary. You could even cut this Omnimon, and I might going forward, but having the Blitz ability is very nice. It's something that your opponent can't really play around too much, so having the ability to do it is nice, especially when we are lacking hybrids. Alright, now getting on into the options, we are starting off with 1 Ice Wall. This card, of course, if we could play more, we would, but it is restricted down to 1. It is very strong. In a deck like this, where you might need 1 or 2 extra turns, having a card like Ice Wall to give you that extra turn is very nice. So I do like playing it here, and just playing it for 1, it's really not that big of a commitment. You have a 1-cost option that can essentially just save you while also having a very strong security effect, so there's really no downside to playing Ice Wall here. Then for our memory gain, we are playing 2 Blue Memory Boost and 2 Hammer Spark. I decided that I needed some memory gain in this deck. I was playing 3 Spark and 2 Boost, but I decided to go down to 2 and 2 because the Blue Memory Boosts are very strong. There are a lot of pieces in here that we just need to find. Our Garurumons, our Garurumon X Antibody, stuff like that. I just really need to search. So I found the Blue Memory Boost to be very strong. Plus it is a +2 memory gain later, so being able to have that extra 1 memory gain as to where Hammer Spark is just gaining you the 1 memory is very nice. So it is less immediate though, which is why Hammer Spark is still good. Hammer Spark is very immediate. If you have it in your hand, you get the value right away, as to where Blue Memory Boost is a card where you have to get the value a turn or 2 later whenever you need it. So Hammer Spark still is direct. Blue Memory Boost is a little bit more consistent, so I decided to just go with the 2 and 2, and it has been working with me very well. Next up, we have our one of little tech here, which is the offensive plugin A, which is going to give us security attack +1, which is very strong for this deck. I will go over why I like this card so much in this deck, but before I do have to go over the X Antibody option first, which is a 0-cost white option, but if you have a Digimon in play, you can play this without meeting its color requirements. Then it has the security trigger of gain 1 memory and add this card to your hand, so it's another gain memory card and security alongside the Ice Wall and the Hammer Sparks, so another reason why Madoki in the list might be so good. But then it has the main. You can place this underneath one of your Digimon that doesn't have X Antibody in its Digivolution cards, which will give you access to the when attacking inheritable, which is the main key here. When attacking, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon in your hand with X Antibody in its traits by paying its Digivolution cost. So that's why these two are so strong. I was talking about earlier with the combo. You will be able to swing the Garurumon. You'll be able to unsuspend it with the when attacking effect. If at any point it does get deleted, you will be able to use Garurumon X Antibody's inheritable. But when you unsuspend with the Garurumon, you will then swing again, use the X Antibody effect to then go into the Garurumon X Antibody for free, because we do Digivolve for 0 from Garurumon, which will then unsuspend it and have security attack +1. So the play is you have Garurumon out, you give it the offensive plugin A to give it 2 checks. You swing the 2 checks and then you unsuspend, and then you swing declaring 2 checks again. You use the X Antibody spell to go into the Garurumon to unsuspend, but now that it has this inheritable in here, it is going to be swinging for 3 checks. So then you're going to swing for 3 checks on top of the 2 checks that you just did for 5, and your Garurumon X Antibody is going to be unsuspended to then be able to go ahead and swing in for game right there. So the red plugin just makes it so you have a much easier way to go in for game and have an OTK. And on top of that, even if you don't have the OTK, this card is still very strong. Let's say all you can do is just swing twice with the Garurumon. Well, if you can get 4 checks in for 2 memory, it's pretty good. You're going to be in a pretty good spot going forward. So I just found this card to be very good. It does give you a very easy way to OTK your opponent, especially with the blue memory boost in the mix, because if you get a blue memory boost out, then you can just pop this. You're going to be guaranteed to have the memory to be able to go into the offensive plugin, and you don't even have to worry about paying memory for the Garurumon X Antibody because it digivolves for 0 from Garurumon. So it just works as a very good combo. Even if you don't have the combo, like I said, you can just get very aggressive with it, so I do really like this card. Then we got our Tamers here. We are going to be having 2 Davis. I was playing the Matt and Sora here, as well as a 4th of the Cool Boy, but I decided to cut them down to the Davis because I was getting choked way too much. I didn't like being at 1. I wanted to make sure and guarantee that I was going to 3 without having any other conditions have to be met. So the Memory Tamer is going to fit there. Plus, it's another searcher for our Garurumons. Davis has been very strong for a very long time for a good reason. It's still going to be very strong here. And then I am playing 3 of the Cool Boy. Cool Boy is very strong in this deck. You're going to be able to on play, reveal the top 3, grab an X Antibody option, as well as grab an X Antibody Digimon. And so you'll be able to sometimes add 2 to your hand if you do find the X Antibody on the search. But for the most part, we are just looking to find our MetalGarurumon, our Garurumon, and our Garurumon X Antibodies here. So this card is very strong. But the best part about this card, in my opinion, is that on your turn, when you Digivolve into a Digimon of the same level with X Antibody in its traits, you can go ahead and suspend this to gain a memory and draw a card. So any of these really work. Gabumon X Antibody on top of Gabumon. You can use that there. Garurumon X Antibody on top of Garuru, so on and so forth. You're going to be able to gain memory, draw cards. You're going to be able to search through your deck, find more stuff, gain more memory. You can pair that with the Sparks. You can pair that with the Memory Boost. You can pair that with the Davis. You're going to be able to always have the memory that you really need to go for these big OTK turns and just whatever turns that you really need. So I do really like Cool Boy. Playing it at 4, I was a little concerned about going down to 3 just because this card is so strong, but from the testing, the 3 to 4 hasn't really made that big of a difference because of the Davis. I don't have to rely on the memory gain of this card as much because of the Davis being a little bit more consistent by putting me to 3 every time, so I do really like these here. But this is going to be today's Garurumon list. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know any changes you would make down below. Let me know what decks you're excited for going into BT9, and with that being said, I'll catch you all for some more BT9 content soon. Have a great day. Peace out.